Carrie's pictures. I found these today too. Where do you see these? Look at
Channing's
look
here.
At the
Hey,
screen.
Channing.
Yeah, look at the screen.
Let me see. Oh gosh,
This
look
is actually
look at
This
that.
is prophetic because she has a telephone in her hand, even though she's at the park. So I was talking about cell phones, pre-cell phone. The whole thing is coming out there. There's her phone, and she's obviously been playing with the phone.
Look at that face.
This is a beautiful little sequence of pictures.
Oh,
Now see that kid right
gosh.
there? That was Gower Champion's son.
Oh, really?
That's Greg Champion right there. Now there we are. This is in Vegas. Look over her head. The Riviera.
Oh, there's like nothing there. Just a few hotels. Western Airlines. Oh my gosh, I remember that when I was a kid.
So this shows you. It was even longer. This is obviously early '60s. That's how long we've been puttering around in Las Vegas. This was out on the Sahara ship. In fact, the Sahara Hotel had a ship, a pretty good-sized yacht out on Lake Mead. Now, there's Carrie at her birthday party. This is during Irene in New York at. You remember? The famous club.
Is it the 21 Club?
Well, I think so.
Sardi's?
No, not Sardi's. No, the one.
Studio 54?
Studio 54.
Okay. So that when you say that, it's a nightclub.
Okay, well that's what it was.
Yeah.
So that was her. She was dressing like that. These are just never been seen by anybody. These pictures. I mean, look how young.
Oh yeah.
Almost chubby there, right?
Well, it's funny. I remember in the early 80s, there was a resale clothing store that Sonny Bono's wife owned. And Carrie's clothes were in there. It was, some of Carrie's clothes
Tell me that
were in
doesn't
there.
look like a cell phone in her hand.
And she
Hello?
was so tiny.
Look,
Carrie
she's got
was,
an iPhone in her
she
hand.
was like a size 0 in the 80s.
5 feet tall.
Yeah.
Look, she's got looks like an iPhone in her hands,
Yeah.
and she's smoking a cigarette. But they hadn't been even invented or thought of yet.
Right.
Anyway, I just thought you'd like to see some of these.
Oh, I love that. I love that picture.
Look at these little posers.
Yeah. I have never seen theirs. When did you dig?
I pulled them out today.
Oh, they look
Looking
great.
for something to have some fun with.
Hi, Shirley Tate, Latest Styles,
That's very artsy, right?
Barb
that picture?
Kevern, Angie Montalvo, Kathy
Oh, you guys
Billings,
can't see the picture, can you?
Allison Mills,
Where are you- oh,
Amy
you have it on there.
Perkins.
Where we did what?
Where we went on our first date together? How embarrassing. We we went to Henry's house for dinner.
We did.
That
was our first date.
That
You're
was
right.
our first date.
That would qualify as the first
I
date.
still have what I wore on our first date and wear it all the time. And it was great. We went to Henry. If some of you go to his cyber church, the Hiding Place Cyber Church on Facebook.
Uh-oh. Look at that.
What are we
There's
looking
a
at here?
Pretty sexy picture of Carrie in her little bikini.
Swimsuit. Oh.
That's my grandma and Carrie.
Oh my gosh. I see a little bit of Debbie in her face.
I found a picture of my mom. Oh, yeah. Now see, there's Marge Champion right there. With
Oh,
Greg.
that's so cool.
So that's Marge Champion with Carrie, and they're on the back lot. And this is the filming of The Mating Game.
Oh, it is?
During that time.
Now, what? There was no dancing in the mating game.
No, but
So why were the champions there?
because they're working on the lot. Everybody worked in the same place.
Oh, so people would come and visit you.
Sure, we'd
You know
all eat
what?
together.
That is so true. I will tell a quick little story about that. When I was making The Last Married Couple in America with George Siegel and Natalie Wood, and it was my first job. I think it was around 1979. No, maybe it was before then. I know it was in the 70s. And I remember how exciting it was to be that young and working on this movie and eating in the commissary and seeing everybody you grew up watching there. Anyone you've ever admired is sitting there eating in the commissary. And Michelle Pfeiffer, who was a friend of mine before she was famous, and she was making Delta House, the Animal House series. It was, like a series called Delta House. And she would come and visit. We would visit each other on our sets.
And then everybody goes back to work.
And she was so beautiful. It would hurt your eyes. She was so beautiful, even back then. And she they were making Battlestar Galactica on the lot, and they were making the A-Team on the. I mean, like it was Donald Belisario was the king of television, and he had so many great series then. And so Michelle came, and we went to have lunch at the commissary.
So did you see George Papard in there?
At George Papard, I saw him, but she said, do you know that they, oh God, she was so beautiful. She goes, do you know that they film Battlestar Galactica here on the Universal lot? And I said, I do know that. And she said, I would die if I ran into Richard Hatch. I think about this because she became so famous. You know what I mean?
Bigger than him by far.
Big star, and and he was, but I got it. We were just kids when we started out, all of us, and that was so fun.
So last picture in the sequence.
Let's see it.
Is this picture of Carrie in this director's chair, and the picture's not in good shape. But if you notice, look at what it says on the director's chair next to her. Can you see that?
It says Mervyn LeRoy.
So the director, Mervyn LeRoy.
Yeah.
So now we know what set she's on. It's the set of Mary Mary.
Yeah.
And guess who the director of photography is? This is where I, as a little boy, was introduced to Harry Stradling Sr., the director of photography. But Mervyn LeRoy was a very famous director at the time. Not my favorite Debbie movie, by the way, but a really interesting that I found a picture of Carrie on the set of Mary Mary. And that goes back to the really important concept that she would take us everywhere.
Yes.
And it was not really done. She was a big enough star where I'm guessing she could throw her weight around and bring us. But most people couldn't or didn't want to bring their children. Maybe it would be distracting. I don't know what their excuses are. But my mother didn't care. She insisted that her children come with her, and we were there a lot. So that was a remarkable thing to do. And